Welcome back to the Social Distance Podcast. It's been a bit of a break, but we've been busy. As we explain on the show, we talk about all the recent races. We talk about the battle we missed between Remco and Pogačar. We hypothesise, that's the right word, hypothesise on what would have happened if Pogačar hadn't crashed.
Off air, we almost got Pogačar on the show and he gave us the arse.
Yeah, off air, we asked Pogačar midway through the show if he'd come on, and he said no, he couldn't. So
he said definitely the next show, though, he's keen as mustard. Isn't that right, George?
Oh, yeah. We've got Remco next week as well.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get them both on. Well, what else did we talk about? We went through what it's like to be a sports director in the car, got some insights from how hectic it is. Talked about how to avoid
scams.
How to get scammed or how to avoid them. One or the other. We're still working that out. Yeah. If you guys listen, you'll find out what we spoke about. So that's the goal ultimately. Like, share, subscribe.
I don't think we need to suck the life out of the show right at the start by just listing everything we talk about.
Yeah.
There we go.
Why change a winning formula? Suck the life out of it.
That would require us to do it again, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's just run the intro and wing it like we always do and see what comes out of it.
Let's get ready to rumble! Front kick.
Just getting bored and dance move chat.
My radar's going pretty hard at the moment. I think we should.
Will you shut up, man?
That escalated quickly.
We're going to need to get some more qualified guests on the show, eh?
Sorry I was a bit late to the recording, boys. I just did 3 hours on the bike for the first time in a long time.
Well, according to my watch, you're 3 weeks late.
Yeah, that's true. But I had a shower when I got home, used the Manscaped shampoo. Smelled good, feel fresh, ready for the show.
That's good stuff.
Still 3 weeks late.
Shampoo.
Real good.
Yeah, real good.
Are we 3 weeks late?
Yeah.
Week
I
late.
feel like 6 weeks late.
Oh, well, whatever it is. It's a good thing we're not in charge of like stuff that's of really, really high importance. You can imagine putting us three in charge of anything that had to hit a specific time.
Do you mean that being a
I reckon we're good at
team?
that. I reckon we're good at that because we've got other jobs. Until someone forks out 150 grand a year to sponsor the show, we've got other jobs that we've got to hit timelines and deadlines for, which sometimes affects our ability to do this, hit the deadline of the show.
Well, we were going to do a show last week, but then obviously George was unavailable, which put us on the back foot because we've tried the 1-2 punch, Jones Bewley, and they just fall flat. And we were ready to do it, but then George threw out the last minute. He goes, "Look, just record it. If it's shit, just bin it." And it was just that little
did you have a
seed
crack?
of doubt. No, it was that seed
You didn't
of
even
doubt
get off the mark.
as soon as you said, "If it's shit," and my brain was going, "Who are you kidding? It's going to be shit." Because me and Sam would have
all shit.
Yeah, that's right. But it's even shitter. So we didn't bother. But there's a lot to talk about, lads, because at least we've had a whole month of some fantastic cycling action. A lot of upsets.
Before we get to the cycling, we got some good news this morning. Well, I got some good news from George. We found some Springsteen tickets for Friday.
You're joking.
We were trying to get them when they came out in the ballot. Me and Caitlin, I think George was racing or something. So I was at home and Caitlin was at home. I think Hannah was also racing. Well, no, Hannah was here as well. I think she had a laptop going. We had 3 laptops like in the waiting bay trying to get into the ballot, and we got squat. And then George has come through last minute.
Well, you know how you got some good news about the Springsteen tickets?
Uh-oh.
There's potentially some bad news about the Springsteen tickets.
Oh, it's in London or something.
I don't know. Nah. Well, firstly, it's on Sunday. Secondly, I just spent €600 on these tickets, and then all that happened was a little screen popped up and was like, "Congratulations, your order's been successful." And then fucking donuts. Just zero. Like, no emails. Go to my Viagogo account. It's like, no upcoming events.
Oh. Viagogo, man. Viagogo is a fucking... Like, I think you can get rolled on Viagogo. Like, we shouldn't bad talk about
I think I just got rolled on Viagogo.
But I think the website, the platform itself is legitimate.
€615.
The website itself is legitimate, but there's illegitimate people putting illegitimate tickets online. And I said to George, there's a risk out there, but let's take the gamble because it's Springsteen.
And it's your money,
And we
George.
lost.
And
Take
so
the
far,
gamble, man.
gamble's not paying off. So this is going to be like one of those situations where I say to you, yeah, chuck $100 down on some horse for me at the Melbourne Cup, and then I don't pay you unless I win. If the horse doesn't win, I don't pay you the money I asked you to put down.
I got scammed out
So
of
you're
Mr. Big
invested in the
tickets
scam,
once.
are you?
Hmm.
What's that, Jonsey?
I had a spare ticket to Mr. Big in Melbourne one year, and I put it on Facebook Marketplace, and someone said, yeah, I'll take the ticket. I said, okay. And they said, I'll just do like a transfer now if you want. What's your details? Yeah, I prefer cash. I said, look, I'm going to be probably running 10 minutes late, but it's just easy. Give me your details. This is green. This is like 3 years ago. And gave them all my details. They did a screenshot. All looks legit. Yep. Gave them the ticket. Money never went through. Got rolled. So they pinched the ticket. And then they reckon the new scam. So I've put a bike up on Marketplace, which I think I've got a legitimate buyer who's going to come around and give me cash. But what they do is they say, hey, mate, do you have like there's some, not PayPal, but there's some other Air Cash or something.
Vimo. No.
Yeah, something like that. And they say, look, can I transfer you in that? And my brother will come, always someone that's not related to him. My brother will come around and collect it tomorrow. I'll just do the transfer now. And
Well,
you
that
go,
sounds like that is someone related to them.
no, but it's always
Brothers, generally.
front. No, but they say it's their brother. You got to be one step ahead of these guys, George. It's not his brother.
Oh, wait. So, okay, but I don't understand the scam. So they say that the brother's coming around
Yes.
and no one shows up.
No, someone comes to collect the bike, but this apparent transfer has not gone through. This random dude takes the bike and it's gone. So that's how they're lifting gear off Marketplace at the moment.
But then you deserve to have your bike stolen if you go, here's the bike. Oh, I'm sure that it's going to come through.
Yeah, but in Australia, mate, we're very trustworthy. Like we trust a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's a mate, and then we get rolled.
Mm.
You just
Especially
can't,
if they come around,
can't
they're
do that.
charismatic. Do you know what you can do now is you can reverse. Like I've been trying to cancel I sold a scooter to a guy like 4 years ago. And I've been trying to cancel the insurance and I just can't cancel it. So every year I've just been paying like €300 for this insurance. And it came out of my account and I just realized this year that you can actually reverse it. So like, it came out of my account, saw it come out and I just reversed it. So they could do that to you, you know, they could do like you can pay for it, you show the thing and then you just reverse it.
Ah. Yeah, cash is king, folks. If you're ever selling stuff, just cash.
Mm.
And then the next wave will be counterfeit notes that'll roll you. So, in fact, just don't sell anything. Just keep it. Just hoard. Just hoard. Just be safe. Yeah.
So as it sits right now, we're not going to Springsteen on Sunday.
Let's get an email in the next 3 days.
But where were the tickets? Was there like, who was selling the tickets? Was there like a photo of the tickets?
Yeah.
Or?
Via GoGo. No, it's like automatic. Like, oh yeah, we'll transfer you your tickets. Everything looked real legit. I even did like Google reviews. Is this legit? And everyone's like, yeah, it's legit.
Well, who knows? When you do it today, it might come through. Might just take.
Maybe they're
6
running
hours or something.
maybe they're running a Ponzi scheme. So like they get someone to give them $600 in the hope that they can find someone that gives them $1,200. You know, like as it steps up. So they take the money
yeah, they're running like the pyramid.
and now they're hoping they can find the tickets. You know, and then those tickets they'll use to sell like for someone else for $1,000, and there'll always be a ticket short, and the guy at the end of the line will get fleeced.
And only be one guy that's paid $12,000 for Springsteen tickets. It's just
and the tickets, no tickets for him.
Or maybe George will do his last minute when he gets in a pickle. Just go to Twitter, guys. I've just been rolled. Springsteen. Anyone got tickets for Sunday? You might get lucky that way, mate.
Twitter's delivered.
Maybe
Terrible
Bruce
place,
himself
but
will
delivers.
tweet you.
Do you know Obama's coming?
Yeah,
Is he?
saw that. Yeah, he's mates
Yeah.
with Bruce.
Yeah, they did a podcast together at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, the Renegade. Him and Michelle are coming to the Springsteen concert in Barcelona.
Well, your old
First name
man's got
basis
history
player.
with. Yeah, I was going to say your old man. It's deep roots with the Bewleys for the love of Springsteen. He's got that great story.
Yeah, I know what my dad went through to not sell his tickets. So I'm doing what I can to get some tickets.
Tell the listeners what happened with Kenny.
Well, he just got offered good money for Springsteen tickets, and he was making couldn't rub when he was like, I guess in his 20s living in the UK, couldn't rub two pennies together, and he had Springsteen tickets, and someone offered him an absurd amount of money, and he's like, nah, I'm going to see the boss. And he said he walked in and the guitar just started, and he just thought, I'll never regret this.
Someone from Via Go.
5 years later, he was
Yeah, then he slept on the street for a couple of years, and yeah.
regretted it deeply for the rest of his life.
But no, yeah, plenty of good bike racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's there been since we last recorded? Flanders, Roubaix, Amstel, Liège, all the ones in between. Sicily.
Don't forget. Yeah.
You raced Sicily, didn't you?
I was there in person.
Well, last time we spoke, George, you had the record for the most race days of any rider in 2023. Have you been toppled yet, or?
Nah, still going strong. I've done about 48 race days since then. So still leading that. I've actually got a week off, which is fucking pretty crucial. I was actually the classics was just one thing too far, or probably a couple of things too far. But like actually was all right, we got up there for Liège, got up there on Monday for Flesh, and actually Flesh went real well. Obviously for us we won. It was just hard race, all that stuff, and then like there's a lot of bugs going around at the moment, like guys getting COVID, guys getting flu, guys getting stomach bugs, and we were just taking hits, and then I got real crook after Flesh, and I couldn't get out of bed the day before Liège. Was just in bed all day, couldn't go for a ride, nothing. And I was just like hoping like how would like come around for Sunday. Yeah, was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday morning. Woke up on Sunday morning like real 50-50 here, but we've got the favourite. You just got to get it together, And then like that was just the start of like the most horrific day. Started out, I was struggling, but I was right. I was like, okay, get through this. And then after about 70k, we're going down this hill, and it's the new tubeless for some people. Like they're having troubles with certain tires. If you got the wrong size wheels and the wrong size tires, when you puncture, they can like explode and rip off the rim. And basically, Honore I'm not sure if his tire got ripped off or it was just like some crazy sequence of events. And basically his tire just came off the bike. He rode like 20 meters with no tire on, and then obviously just went down 70k an hour. Tade just went over him full. And I was drinking at the time, so I had one hand on the bars, one hand on the bike, and I was like, whoa, fuck, trying to navigate through, but I couldn't brake, which probably saved me. And I just like ran over something, just like must have been a bike, maybe a wrist. It wasn't, but then just enough to like puncture my back wheel. And
it was funny because we were in the car. I was in the car, and they're like, "See, Pogacar's crashed with Pogacar," and then like we came through the convoy, and then like as we went around the crash, we saw Pogacar sitting there, and he didn't look good. Like, I mean, I definitely didn't count him out. I was like, if anyone's going to get up now with a broken wrist, carry on and win Liège, it's probably going to be him. But like it seemed like the chances were slim. And we like got through the crash site, and then there was like 3 UAE guys standing there like 50 meters later, like waiting for Pogacar, obviously. And then we like took off in the car, and then we got like 500 meters down the road, and George was just like standing off in the grass with his bike up, spinning this like cranks. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
I was just hanging out. I was just calibrating my power meter at that point because I was like stopped, and I was like, I got a flat tire, and also like I need to wait for Tade. But we've been standing there for like 3 minutes. We were so far behind, and I was just looking back up the road, and I could see my team car there, and all the team cars were passing me. But so the smart thing would have been like to ride back towards the team car. But if you ride backwards in any capacity, you're instantly disqualified. So I just had to wait until we were about 5k behind the race.
Oh yeah, I was.
And then
surprised.
the commissaires were like barring me. They were like, when I was trying to come back, they were like giving me the whole like, you can't get out the convoy, and they were like making barrage and cars coming around me. And it's like, well, if I don't use the convoy, mate,
so
I might as well just stop now,
I was literally like, I said to Rick, the other DS in the car with me, I was like, when because they took a long time to announce on the radio that Pogačar had abandoned, and then when they did, I was like, he's got 4 teammates back there that waited for him that aren't injured, that can continue, but this is not going to be easy. They were so far behind.
I was in the cars for like 20K. So long to come back.
I was going to say, what's the protocol there? So, your leader's out, you're way off the back, you're barely going to get back on. Like, obviously, this is why I'm not a professional athlete, but I'd just be like, might as well pack it in. Can't I say the director?
Normally for a guy like me, that's actually like the opportunity. That's actually like, you go, this is my chance, But I was crook as hell and was creeping in, and a little bit of me was like, all right. Not relieved. That's like, I was like gutted, but I was also like, now is not the time to dig this hole any deeper, Yeah. Yeah. Pick your battles. And I was prepared to absolutely rinse myself if Tade was there for the win and do some potentially like damage to myself that could last a while. But once he was out, I was like, okay. And it was just like, this isn't on today.
I'd love to run through the hypothetical of what would have happened in that race if he hadn't have crashed. Like, it was obviously the first time the battle, okay, Pogačar had Flanders. He showed how good he was because everybody was there for that race. Okay, Remco's not there, but like Van Aert, Van der Poel, these guys are also freaks in these races.
And it was a cobbled classic, not a mountain stage.
And he won there, and then Amstel again, but Amstel was it was a strong field, but still there was no Van Aert, no Van der Poel, no Remco. So he won that. And then Liège was the first going to be the first real battle, Remco and today.
Yeah.
And it was I would love to run through the hypothetical of what would have happened there. My thought is that Pogačar would have won from a 2-up sprint.
Yep.
I don't think either of them would have dropped each other.
That's the problem, mate. Isn't it isn't it such an exciting thought that I don't know why it hasn't happened. It feels like maybe because Remco's sort of on the way up, and then Jumbo kind of have to balance Primoz and Jonas. But it's at one point, I reckon it will be next year, we're going to have a Tour de France where it's Remco, Tade, Jonas, and Primoz.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Whoa, fuck, that's loud. Was that loud or was it just me? Hang on, it's been thrown off here.
Got an audience now.
Got an audience.
Talk about the Tour de France next year with all the
it's got to happen at some point because they're still trying to avoid each other in some ways. Because I
don't think they are trying to avoid each other though. Because people say this, they're like, "Oh, why do the favourites avoid each other?" But no one waits and goes for their race program in December and goes, "Oh, what's Primoz doing?
Yeah,
oh, he's doing Basque. All right, I'm not going there." They pick whatever races they want to do, and then if someone else is going, they're going, and then it's on.
But I reckon with the Grand Tours, they do maybe a little bit to the point where they go if you're Remco, for example, you go, okay, the Tour de France has to happen at some point, but I'm still young. It's no hurry. I'd like to nab another Grand Tour victory before I go to the Tour. But if you go to the Tour now, he knows that to win the Tour, he's up against Pogačar and Vingegaard. But if he goes to the Giro, the chances of him winning there are higher than of him winning at the Tour. So he goes, let's go to the Grand Tour where it's a really good chance for me to win it, as opposed to the Grand Tour where I could win it or I could get third.
But I think it's just because it's easier to win the Giro than the Tour. You know what I mean? It always is, no matter
in theory, yeah.
But this is actually a question. This is actually a thought I had the other day, right? Why is the Tour de France because in a way, as a rider, okay, Tour de France is everything for me, It's why it's the dream. It's why I ride a bike. But there's many things about it that actually are real restrictive to us and have kind of massively influenced our careers in terms of look at the NBA, look at TV rights, how high or how developed that sport is, because all the players have basically received a share of the TV rights, a share of the sort of intellectual property of the NBA, whatever. But like the ASO has an absolute monopoly on the Tour de France. So what is to stop if every rider went, right, there's some other, like, let's say another organization came together and go, right, we're going to do a 3-week race in France. We obviously can't call it the Tour de France, but we might call it the Tour of France. And we're going to give the riders the TV rights from this. And then all of a sudden, if every single rider, like if Tadej, if Remco, if Primoz, all said we're going to go to that race instead of the Tour de France, that then becomes the premier race. And then it's basically just like a full sort of, they pulled the tablecloth out. It's a full swap right before everybody's eyes, but suddenly all the big riders are another race that the riders are happy to be at because of the TV rights, everything like that.
Well, I reckon the history...
They floated that 10 years ago. It was close to happening.
But I think the history and the prestige of the Tour de France would just eventually trump it. Like they know they've got the trump card. It's like Live Golf. Okay, a lot of people went and did it for shitload of money. But then like a lot of those people, with the exception of a few, they all went there like at the end of their careers, like, rah. But then some guys are like, I don't think they still have the allure of going to play the Masters.
Yeah.
And like they got away with it still at the moment because they still can. But if that rule ever gets changed and those guys that Live Golf can't play the Masters, I reckon then they'll go, fuck, okay, we're making cash, but like ultimately we still want to compete in the premier event. And
okay,
we can't.
At what level for you is money? At what's the paycheck? Like, what's the dollar figure on prestige for you?
Oh, I'll do it for 100 grand.
Yeah.
The only way that it could work, right, is if someone with massive, massive pockets.
I'd do it for Springsteen tickets.
Yeah.
If someone with massive, massive pockets come in and essentially bought the ASO and reskinned a whole year where they had the ownership of the Tour de France, but all a calendar around it, and it was all under the one banner. So essentially you'd be shoving out the Giro, you'd be shoving out the Flanders Classics, all these subsidiary little people around the Tour de France, and build a whole season, and then had all the streaming rights, all the television, all comes into one pool, and then you had a chop out for all the premier teams that competed in it.
Do you know what the first thing that needs to happen is? We need to, like, in cycling, we've gone on a fucking tangent here, but we'll go with it. Like we need to make cycling teams like franchise teams.
Yeah.
So it's like,
they don't lose the name then.
Yeah. Like no matter who the sponsor is, it can change or whatever, but you're always called the Jets or
what would be your franchise name? Because I was watching the NRL the other day and I was watching the New Zealand Warriors and I was thinking like, NRL's rugby league, people don't know. And one of the best games rugby league I ever saw in my life. And I was thinking like all the rugby league names are basically animals. Like the Eels, the Panthers, the Roosters. And then, okay, you got the Cowboys and the Storm. But like the best one for me was the Warriors, the New Zealand Warriors. And it just was like,
a lot of,
I thought that was like the coolest franchise name in sport.
Well, they had a new team in the basketball league in Australia, in Tasmania, and they called themselves the Jack Jumpers. Tasmania Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, that can get.
And at the time, it was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't know what my friend. I think I'd go like an animal name, like the Penguins or something. It's good.
Penguins. You get something a bit more fierce than that. Yeah, like the bloody Lions or.
Yeah.
I did quite like the Roosters because I used to hate the Roosters. I was like, who would want to be named after a chicken? But now in my day-to-day life, if someone's like a good bloke or just like a laugh or a guy you'd want to have a beer with, you'd say, he's a good pint. He's a rooster. So it's actually like, and instead of your logo being a chicken, it would just be like, the iconic Alco bloke down at the pub, and he's a rooster. So it's like,
I reckon the first
you're not promoting the bird, you're promoting the bloke down at the Spring and Fern.
The knockabout man for all seasons.
Like, I reckon that the first step would be like to create franchise teams. Then eventually the money would come and you'd grow the money. And then you get to a point where you become like any other franchise sport where your like team is based in a city or a country, like, and then if you sign for that team, you move there.
Or you could just franchise it out to countries, and just it's just like a nationals. Every country's got a world tour squad or the big ones, and then that's it.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up is the history of the Amstel podium. It's obviously a couple of weeks ago now, but always causes hoo-ha-ha with the tradition of you've got to scull the beer when you're up on the podium. I remember when Gero ran, I think it was second or third in 2014, and at the start of Liège, I gave him shit because the locals, he took like a little sip and then put the beer down, and the locals were like booing him. I said before Liège, I said, hey, Gero, how'd you take the heat from getting booed for just sipping your beer at Amstel? He goes, don't worry, Jonsey. After today, there'll be plenty of time to scull beers, mate. And then he goes out and fucking wins it. So that was a mic drop moment. But we saw, what's his name? British guy. Pidcock. Doesn't drink. So didn't even attempt it, which is fair enough. If you don't drink, you wouldn't.
No.
but can't they line up like, don't Amstel do like a 0% alcohol just to save face?
No, but I think
zeros.
Yeah, they are zeros, I think. But I think you also get paid if you. I remember hearing. I don't know if this is true or not. This might be complete bullshit. But like, I remember there was a thing like you get $1,000 extra if you drink the beer on. This might not be cycling. This might be motorsport. But
Really?
This might be the NASCAR, I think, or it might be cycling. But you get like $1,000 extra if you smash the beer.
But I think it would be zeros, no, because I don't know if you can promote alcohol. So like when you win, which one do you win? E3 maybe or something? I can't remember which one it is now, but you get Quaremont beer on the podium. And like Van Aert had one, he had like the big, like, I don't know how big the glass was, but like a litre or something, massive one. But I think it's all zero because of the advertising. I don't know though. Maybe it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Those boys at Amstel don't look like they're sticklers for rules and advertising legalities. Like they'd be like, top him up.
Oh man, I went to the managers meeting, the sports directors meeting before Amstel. It was the best. It was the best meeting I ever went to. So like normally, like every sports directors meeting you go to, which is not that many for me so far, but they all follow a very similar theme. So you get there and there's like the panel in front. It's the race director, the commissaire, a couple of commissaires, like a representative from the police or something. So they all have the first thing that normally happens is the race director does a roll call. Okay, Israel Premier Tech, yep. UAE, yep. Make sure all the teams are there. Then he'll go like, welcome to the Amstel Gold Race. This year is the such and such edition. And then he'll talk about like a few things on the course, or like, like he'll do a bit of a speech for 10 minutes, So like, there's this little change on the course. There's this, and this, blah, blah, blah. The old dude that's runs Amstel just sits down and everyone goes quiet. And he goes, everyone here? And then we all just laughed. He goes, all right, I'll hand you over to the commissaire. And the commissaire was like, I do not want to like run through like, I don't know, like a day, like some points on the course or like a climb or some like, you've made this particular climb like banned for have spectators on it because it's narrow or like little things like this. He's like, no, they don't want to hear that. You carry on. It was like a 5-minute meeting.
I saw Nygaard tweeted because after the podium, he stood up there on the podium with Pogger.
He's a rooster.
Like, yeah. He's like the Cipollini of bloody race organisers.
It's so funny. Like
he's the guy that ran the Curacao race.
Oh, is it?
Like the hitters go every year, and there was that. I think we talked on the potty one time with 20k to go. There's all these like hedges and bushes and that, and that's when he'd line up the guys that were meant to run 1, 2, and 3, and it's basically like, get on the back of the van. Say, going, what do you know? Like, there's the podium. Oh yeah, he's a dude.
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, roll call. Everyone here? We're all just like, well.
Yeah, so I don't think he's putting 0% alcohol in the beers at the end.
No.
I'm sure
man, that
Kwiatkowski Kwiatkowski drained it. I think Tade drained it. And there was sort of like I saw this thing on like one account I was talking about. It was a race between them, and it was actually just like comparing their times. It was like Cowberg, and it had like 3 minutes, and it was like this and this, and it was like glass of Amstel, and it was like 6 seconds, and it was like,
man, that race Amstel. Well, I was in the car there. I tell you what, that would be a hard race. In some ways, maybe a little bit easy to organize, but in a lot of ways, so hard to organize. Just the way, like, looking at the course beforehand, like I was creating like a presentation for the riders, like, you know, like of the course and stuff. And I was just looking at like, where the fuck do I start? Like, it's just a labyrinth.
yeah. Did you know where you were going? Like, did you know what was coming? Because I saw if you look closely at the map, like as I turned on the TV, it just goes in, and then it was like, oh, here's today's course. And it was just like, like 30 little laps.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's insane. Like I didn't know. Like, I knew like pretty good where I was going because we did a recon. I mean, we only recon the last like 80K or something, 70K or something. So that helped. But then I also just spent like, because I only ever raced Amstel once as a rider, so I didn't know all of the Ardennes. I've only raced once before, so I don't know them really well. So I did a lot of study on Amstel. Like I watched videos, went on like the course profile, did quite a lot of study for it. And then I had like a sheet in the car with me, or just the road book with the climbs on it, and I just crossed it off every time I went up a climb. So I knew if I lost myself, I was like, fuck, what's the next climb? I could just look and go, it's all crossed off. We're on that climb now. As long as I didn't forget to cross off the climbs. Be like, oh, we're coming up to the Cowberg, guys. We're like, we did that 3 climbs ago, mate. We're in 4 groups now. Oh.
I turned on TV, and it was like 20 guys.
You better be in the front one then.
Yeah.
But what about even driving the car? Like, you weren't driving the car in that race, were you?
I wasn't driving, and like the initial plan was that I was going to drive, and then we changed the plan just the day before the race. So I was on the radio, and Rick Verbrugge, who's been he's like the sporting manager of the team, he's like been a really good mentor to me actually, and he was like he was driving, and like we got to the finish of the race, and I looked at him and I was like, honestly, I'm glad you drove, because I don't know if I could have done that. Like it was just, it's the most hectic race in the convoy. And like I'd done Catalunya, driving in Catalunya and stuff, but that's different. This is a different ball game. I was like, I would have made it around probably, but fuck, it would have been hard. Because the roads are so narrow, and there's fucking bike riders getting dropped, coming back.
Do you know what I reckon the most hectic race in the convoy would actually be? Was Women's Roubaix this year.
Yeah, Roubaix would be hectic.
Oh, yeah.
No, but the Women's Roubaix. When I just saw the whole front group crash.
Yeah. Mate, there's just points like when Woodsy punched in Amstel, and like these sections of like, you have like long sections, like 30, 40K sections where you're just on these single lane farm roads. Like it's raining, there's bike riders getting dropped, coming back, there's motorbikes in the convoy, there's fucking everything. All shit's going down. And Woodsy punched it. He's like, punch it. And like, you literally just like in the convoy, wherever you are, like 15th car or whatever, and you just literally just go, we can't do anything. We just have to carry on driving in the convoy until we get to him. You can't pass. You can't get past. No, you're just like, it's like, you just can't get to your riders. It's fucking crazy. A lot of directors try, but it's just not a lot of space.
The other unknown is like, I used to say it all the time in like, say, races like the Giro or whatever, is you've got to also battle against directors that are hotheads, like notorious hotheads. And then if you have like a Barney with them on like stage 3, that can carry right through to the end of the Giro. Like, remember, Whitey used to have those classic battles with the Fantini guys, like in 2014, where I'd literally see the in-car video and pick up on all this bloody Italian where he's going, "You're testa the cazzo!" Like, and Jerry be next to him, spitting in his face, just going fucking ape shit. And then you see, like, you know, full on zigzag and like cutting him off.
I was a real victim of this. When I came to Jumbo, it was early days Jumbo, and it was at like Paris-Nice, I think. Anyway, I crashed or I punctured something, and I was trying to come back, and I was behind the AG2R car, and the AG2R car looked in the mirror, saw it was me, and just boosted off. And then I was out in the middle of nowhere, and like because it was last in the convoy, you know. And then like the second cars arrived, and I sort of got back through and got back on. And I got to the bus, and I said to I remember saying to like one of the directors, like, oh yeah, like fuck, the AG2R car just wouldn't help me, you know. It was real strange. Like maybe I annoyed the guy or something. And then they were like, oh no. Welcome to the long-standing feud between Rabobank and AG2R that's gone on for like 12 years.
And you get
between the two directors.
I'm starting to notice now, like the directors that try to flick the system, and like there's always a few. So like that's a good example would be like if you're coming into like a really narrow section of the course, like I don't know, Arenberg would be a good example. So you're coming into Arenberg and your car number 15, and just before Arenberg, 1K before Arenberg, you pull out of the convoy and just go straight past all the cars and then slot in your first car into Arenberg.
Yeah.
Like
pretend you've been called up.
Yeah. Just pretend you've been called up. Like, and you start to see all these like directors like trying to flick the system, and you get away with it like a few times, but then eventually the cars just go, nah, mate, get fucked.
Nah, you're not coming through.
Yeah, you're not coming
through. Do you
through.
remember the Tour de France stage 2000 and I'm going to say 12 or 13, and I think it was Belkin or Rabobank still, or Blanco maybe. I can't remember. It was early rendition of Jumbo, and Valverde had punctured, but as Valverde had punctured, they'd already had the plan to just go full gas in the gutter, crosswinds, and just blew the race a bit. So they started, and as they started, Valverde punctured, and he was riding GC, and then obviously it split to bits, and they barraged the second group, and Valverde couldn't get back to the front. And I remember hearing stories that the Movistar car started like smashing into the Belkin car, like actually fucking like tell your boys to stop. He punctured, you know, like this is not like ethical, and like fucking like swerving at them.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely happens. And I remember like that same Giro that Whitey was blowing with the Fantini guys. I remember on stage 6, like they had the jersey, like the whole start of the Giro, and all the teams were saying, well, when are you going to commit a guy to the front? You got the jersey. And Whitey's going, no, we're not. We're going to lose the jersey today. It's a mountaintop finish. We're not protecting it. We're not committing guys. He said that the whole race. That was the day that Bling beat Cadell up that climb in the jersey. So this whole stage is going, we're not committing guys. We're not going to win. Just fucking leave us alone. Goes out and wins. Everyone's up and about. Oh, mate, he lost. And that's the other thing. Like then other directors go, oh, he fucking knew. He knew he was up. That was a stitch up, you know?
Yeah.
You can't win.
Good directing, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, the sheriff used to love that. No. We're not fucking committing guys yet. Nah.
I had a funny situation at Catalunya. So we were riding the front with Ineos and Alpecin because it was a sprint stage, or like a solid sprint stage. So it was like Alpecin riding for Cade and Ineos riding for Ethan Hayter, and we're riding for Corbin Strong. So we're all riding, but then there was like the last 50K was all downhill, like fast downhill. So like it was like we'd already had the conversation in the car, like, okay, we don't want the time gap to be bigger than 2 minutes at that point because it's a hard chase from there, you know. And then we saw Zach Dempster and Ineos talking to the Alpecin car, and like we could see what he was saying, like saying that, like, oh, it's downhill. You could see his hand, so we needed like 2 minutes or whatever. And then like a couple minutes later, he came up to our car to speak to us, and I just like he wound the window down and I wound the window down. I just go, not more than 2 minutes, 50K to go. Just like I was like, I'm just going to get in front of him, and he's like, yeah, maybe a little bit less.
Do you reckon there's an element though?
He had to be there. It was funny though.
But you're going to be wary of is other sports directors see you as like fresh fish. So they're going to test you by going, hey, you're going to commit some guys to the front or see if you're like soft. So you've almost got to play the hard ass early, like, hey, I'm only a new sports director, but don't fuck with me. Like, I'm not going to be pushed around.
Have you ever had the situation where like a team of you've been riding, you've put a guy up, and then a team's come to you and been like, look, we know you're riding, but can you put a good rider on the front? Because we had this once when I think it was like first stage Tour de France, and I was riding the front trying to catch the breakaway, and I was riding with like Tim. I think it was like Tim de Klerk and
Tony
someone
Martin
else,
or
like,
something.
real good riders. Like, and I was obviously it was like 200k flat, and I was not for me, and I just couldn't roll as fast as them. And then I think like they put the call back to the car, like, can you guys put like someone good? Like,
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
gesture.
It's funny learning all the little things that go on. It's good though. Enjoying it.
Yeah.
anyway,
So what-
boys,
I was going to say,
I'm
what do you
gonna
got
go play some
coming up,
golf.
George? You got another week off or what?
what's that? My internet
Good
shouldn't
timing
have-
to lose them.
So what's your plan now, George? You got another week off, or we've got to keep that record intact till?
Nah, mate, I'm
August?
feet up until Swiss altitude. I'm excited, mate. I'm excited for a break. I'm excited for a proper build up. So,
You definitely need to work on your golf game. I'm happy to hear you're heading back out to Savo because after watching you play yesterday, it was like you're a man in need of practice. Put it that
yeah.
way.
Oh, I'm going to the range.
Oh, you're going to the range?
No, and I'm going to play, but I'm going to the range
Oh.
first, hit some balls.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Are you coming?
Yeah.
Doing it right out?
Do I want to ride out? No, I did 3 hours already this morning.
No, a ride out in my car. We can talk
Yeah,
about
I
this
do
off
need
there.
to- I need to lift it. I need to lift out.
Now,
Yeah.
Merch hats, Bewls. We got any left? There's only limited.
We've
lot of
got
hats.
t-shirts are almost gone, basically, essentially gone. But the merch hats, we've got a fresh new stock in. Merch hat and Social Distance Podcast hats, fresh stock in. So head over to we'll put the link up in the post.
And when they're gone, they're gone. That's it.
They're gone, they're gone.
And then we're going to do a new batch of stuff, bigger and
They're in
better.
hot demand, so we got another batch in for you, for all you that missed out. So get on and get them while they're hot.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone that has bought a shirt or a cap. Absolute legends.
And keep in mind, if you're buying a Social Distance Podcast logo hat, that there is a small chance, depending on our basically that we're just fucking slack. But if we change the name of the show, they will become
Oh,
twice the price.
collector's items.
Collector's items.
Yeah. That's it. It's like when they do a print of coins on, Porn Stars, the show, and they go, why is that one worth $2 million? Oh, because they stuffed it up in the mint. They don't make those anymore.
And remember, when
wild.
you're buying our merch, as well as when you're going to manscaped.com and using the code STP20 for 20% off and free shipping for any of their products, remember, the more money you spend on Manscaped or merch, the more money we get. So don't be shy.
The more chances there are for regular shows, and we mean
Yeah.
regular. All right.
We're not going to lie. We're here to make money.
Thanks for supporting us, guys. Appreciate it.
Like,
Well,
Maybe I could spend some bit of money on my internet.
yeah.
Yeah. And then George won't have to go to Viagogo, and he will be actually at concerts. Yeah. Enjoy the show on Sunday,
All right.
boys.